What's in the fucking box?
Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog, nice, coming at you with the Fantastic Beast, The Crimes of Grindelwald movie, Newt Scamander figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And a quick look at the artwork on the side of the box. You can see a picture of the figure. Down at the bottom it says Newt Scamander, 112 figure. More the same on the other side. Let's get this bad boy open and see what's what. And real quick, it should be noted that they made it a point to point out that there was a backdrop packed inside of the box that I will never use, but here it is. Alright, here we go. Newton Scamander, aka some dude who lived before Harry Potter. It's my understanding that the Fantastic Beast trilogy is a prequel to everything that happened with Harry Potter and his 100 books and 14 movies. So I have seen, I guess, 2 of these movies, sorta. I don't know. I've watched them like over my dad's shoulder. He's, for whatever reason, he's been watching these things. So I'm sorta kind of familiar with what's going on. I know this guy is sort of like a magic zoologist sort of dude. He's into a lot of magical and mystical beasts. So it's a pretty fun story. And Soap Studio here with a lot of movie figures, or all movie figures. Soap Studio is sort of like soft goods Mafex or something like that, even though Mafex is now kind of getting into comic-based characters. But this is looking pretty decent, man. I will say that Soap Studio is getting better and better. Shout out to the folks at Soap Studio for sending this over. And just because they sent this over doesn't mean that I won't shit on it if it's trash. All right, moving forward. Taking a closer look at this head sculpt and looking at his fit, you can see that there is some likeness to the character or to the actor. I believe his name is Eddie Redmayne. My daughter just looked it up. And yeah, there is some likeness there. It's okay. I'm not really a fan of how they have the hair. I know it's supposed to be a little wild and kooky and crazy the way his hair looks, but I don't know. It's just like this cut here on the head kind of looks weird. And like I said, Soap Studio is getting better and better with their fit as far as the clothing goes. Seems to be on a standard buck that they've been using, but you can see some wear and tear on his boots here, and those look good. And these are on here through and through. You can see that they are kind of short length boots. The buckles there. Everything looks good. I guess you could probably pull these off if you wanted to, and maybe reuse them, but I'll get this overcoat off. But he is put together pretty well through and through. The overcoat, the vest, looks like he fits in with the times. As far as I know, this takes place in the 1920s or something like that. I think I said 1800s in the opener. It wasn't that far back, but and so he looks like he is dressed apart for that time frame. And a quick look at him without the overcoat, and you can see how slender those wrist pegs are. Always been a gripe of mine with the Soap Studio figures. The wrist pegs are delicate, and you should be careful as you swap the hands on and off. Obviously, I had to take his hands off to remove the coat. Another gripe of mine with these figures is that I believe the hands are a little oversized. At least they look oversized when they don't have overcoats on. So I'll put those back on and show you how it looks. But there are a lot of like little loose strings and stuff like that sometimes with these figures too. And you should obviously not pull any of the strings that are coming from the clothing. You should probably just kind of cinch them with a match or a lighter or something like that. So I'll have to do that. And you know what? This is actually not through and through. So while you can take off the overcoat, you probably only want to shoot him from the front because they left out a patch of... well, you know what? Maybe it's meant to be a different material. No, I don't think so. Yeah, they left out a patch here in the back. I suppose so. The coat will fit snug, so the fit will look good. And there's a look at that jacket, which actually might fit really nice on some other 1/12 scale figure. I don't know that it'll actually fit on any Mezco figure unless it's a really slender buck like Gomez or something like that. And the head does pop off too. All of the heads on the Soap Studio figures pop off, but I didn't like the way the collar on this right side was sitting, so I'm trying to pull it up and fix it so everything looks good. And there's a look at him with the fist back on, so you can see that looks almost cartoonish. They look very large, too large without the overcoat on. and I think that's an adjustment that they need to make. This little bow tie here looks okay. I wasn't really able to get the shirt up on that right side right now the way I'd like it, but there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at his articulation while I have the coat off, because that's the best way to kind of see it right now. But you saw the head and neck was one piece, but it does get a decent range. You can rotate, pivot left to right. He'll look up just a bit, but because it's one piece, it is kind of hindered. It would be nice if the head and neck were two separate pieces. I mean, they kind of seem like they are. I think this is actually like the first time that it seems like the head and neck are separate. Maybe I'm bugging, I don't know, but they are actually moving independently of each other, but you're still not getting the greatest range up, although he does look down. Shoulders on a ball joint. You know, I don't really ever have any gripes with the articulation of these bucks. I just think that the slender buck for every figure is getting a bit overdone, and that they need to probably step it up and give us a different, more medium size buck, a medium build or a larger build for some other characters. But the shoulders do get a good range. You could do a full 360 if you didn't want to tear up the jacket there. There was a butterfly joint there at the shoulder. You get a good range. Double jointed elbows, swivel, and a hinge on the wrist, which was a gripe of mine in the past, was that the wrist didn't really hinge as well. And it looks like they may have actually giving us a little more range here, so that's good. Upper torso articulation as well as the lower abdomen, and you can actually move them at the waist, you can move them at the upper torso. If you didn't have all of this stuff on, you would get a very good range of motion in the torso. Same thing with the lower body, because these pants are kind of form-fitting. You're not going to really get the greatest range, so his legs only going to come up about that far, and the split's only going to look like that, but the articulation is there. There is a double jointed knee, there is a swivel, and a hinge on the foot. Not really any pivot though, unfortunately. So it is a well articulated buck, but you're not going to get to all that articulation because of how form-fitting his outfit is. So 2 fists out of the package, and then he's got a set of hands that looks like he's giving a thumbs up, but I believe these should be utilized to hold his wand, so I'll break that out real quick. Oh, actually, real quick before I do that, these hands are also suitable for him to kind of hold his lapel, hold his collar here for a kind of relaxed look. You know, if you want to take photos of him kind of fixing his jacket or something like that. You know, I always like those kind of relaxed poses, those natural poses. That's what an expert poser does, is make the figures look very natural. But there he is holding one of the wands, one of 2 wands he's packed in with. And you should definitely be careful with this. It is very small and slender. You can kind of tuck it in to his lower fingers here, so that way it stays in place. And he can hold it with either hand, so no issues there. Let's break out the other one. Then he's packed in with this other one, and feel free to make fun of me in the comments if I have this the wrong way, but it seemed to be the way that he should hold it. I don't know how it goes, because he can't really hold it too firmly when it's this way. So let me know in the comments how this should go. I'm not really certain about this one here, but those are the 2 that he's packed in with. Then he's packed in with a couple hands that are open with the fingers slightly spread. And then he's packed in with 2 hands that look like this. And these seem to be the best suited to hold his suitcase, which looks pretty good. You can see some wear and tear. I like the detail and everything here. And if you just kind of separate the thumb from the other fingers a bit, you can slide the handle of the suitcase into his hand. And it is a snug fit, so with either hand he should be able to hold his suitcase. Now the thing I don't like about this suitcase is it doesn't really latch. There's no real mechanism to latch it. You know, you see how that works? You can't just kind of push it close on your own. You gotta bend this forward a little bit, bend these 2 forward just a bit so it can close down, and then kind of bend them back. And that action of bending this back and forth over and over again, eventually that's probably gonna break here at this point. I don't know why there wasn't some actual snapping in place mechanism added to this, so that was kind of lazy in my opinion. But the inner details of the suitcase look pretty good, and it's my understanding that this is sort of like a magical suitcase, so he's got all types of fantastic beasts inside here. Even though it's a small suitcase, there is some like portal or dimension or something in here, I guess. I don't know, but it looks like a picture of maybe his girlfriend or something in there. I don't know who these people are. Let me know in the comments below. And maybe I spoke too soon, but there is a set of hands that are open that are kind of cupped too, that he can hold the briefcase with as well. And these work, and obviously if you wanted to use these to hold other items, you could. Then his final two accessories are a couple of his little buddies from inside the briefcase, some of those fantastic beasts, if you will. This sort of little platypus looking fella here, his name is Niffler. He's static, he doesn't actually move, there is no articulation on him at all. There is some okay detail, but you know, I would have liked for maybe the head on the arms or something to move. That would have been cool. This is not a cheap figure, so any added articulation or accessories is definitely welcome for the price tag here. And then this little fella is packed in as well, and according to the back of the box, it says this is Boog. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let me know what he does in the comments below. Help me out here. And again, another static piece, no articulation on either of these guys. There you go. I think they probably should have included some other beasts packed in here, but I guess some of the other animals that he deals with are a little too large, maybe. So I got a little sidetracked here. Everything I've been doing over the past 24, 48 hours is basically just learning this camera and trying to figure out how to shoot video and what's the best mode, how to get this thing to focus properly, how to shoot pictures. And I was just here for literally 2 hours just shooting a bunch of pictures and trying to get comfortable with this camera. I will say that this guy photographs pretty nicely. I'm pleased with the pictures that I've been taking so far. It's a good looking figure, a little bit expensive for my taste, and not really something that I would personally buy, just because I'm not really invested in this particular trilogy to really want to own the figures. Again, it is a good looking figure. I didn't really encounter too many quality control issues. I do think Soap Studio is getting much better with their figures, and you know, he looks good. My only gripes were the hands being a little oversized and the fact that he should probably have a bit more accessories. I was a little iffy about this briefcase and how it latches, but I think they probably should have included another head sculpt. So, you know, like I said, accessories. But decent figure, one I would still recommend if you're invested in this particular property. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.